Impact printers. I really love history and especially tech history. The Impact or dot matrix printer is the successor to the typewriter. Now, this old Underwood is very similar to the old Royal typewriter that my grandma and grandpa Warner had at their home, and I have to tell you, this is where I got my start with touch typing, using their old Royal Ribbon Impact manual typewriter to create Dungeons and Dragons modules. Yes, I'm that kind of nerd. So dot matrix printers, believe it or not, are still around. These were popular back in the 70s and 80s. And what they do, let me show you another picture, is operate very much like electric typewriters. The manual one I showed you, each time you press a key, it manually forces the key, the metal pressing of a key, through an ink ribbon and impacts the paper and leaves the outline of the character. A dot matrix printer has a print head that consists of a cluster of pins. On the low end we have 9 pin, on the higher near letter quality level we have 24 pin print heads that march across the page and do the same thing as a typewriter. It forces the impression of each character through an ink ribbon. Okay, so the print head contains the pin cluster. The ink ribbon is the consumable that you wind up replacing once the ink goes away. This shows a close-up of, let's count those pins. We have 12, 13, 14, 15. This looks like a 15-pin printout. And as you can see, it's not letter quality. Back in the day with impact printers, the idea was in business you wanted to get a high pin count printer, or potentially even a daisy wheel printer that actually had each letter as a metal cast like you see in a typewriter to give output that was considered decent or acceptable for business use. As you see, this dot matrix printout might have been good in 1981, but it's not really acceptable too much nowadays. But that having been said, we still see dot matrix printers in business. For instance, you might go to an auto parts store, and when they give you your printout, your parts manifest, your receipt, and so on, you might hear the familiar sound of a print head buzzing across a page, and as pages are pulled from a tractor feeder, as you see in this illustration, we have perforated paper that's hole punched on either side and comes in on a tractor belt and is quickly printed out in a dot matrix way. You also find sometimes with these old dot matrix printer systems that you have need for a duplicate, so sometimes the tractor feed paper contains carbon in the middle to extend the impact through multiple copies. Again, this might bring back good memories or bad memories. It's interesting to me that you still see these in some shops that have not updated their systems. They've got box upon box of pre-printed tractor paper that maybe has the invoice information already laid out, so they figure if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, if it does break, you and I know it might be a little difficult to fix in terms of parts availability, but that's another story for another time.